WBCB presents Pro Wrestling Weekly.
Enough is enough, and it's time for a change!
I can't believe I'm putting my voice to this.
Call in with a question or comment at 215-949-3232 or 888-922-2149.
Thank you for your irrelevant opinion.
And now, here's your host of Pro Wrestling Weekly, Fearon.
The first thing you need to do is to tell these people to shut up if you want to hear what I gotta say. I'm a broadcast journalist. I have a right to my opinion.
Oh, son of a...
I am the best on this microphone, in that ring, even at commentary.
There's the sound of the bell, and we are set to go. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Recovering ever so slightly from a very emotional week, to say the least. Now things have somewhat sunk in, at least for me, that they have after the passing 8 days ago of Roddy Piper. Oh, man. But I'm here in studio alongside Yale Alpert, back in the house with us.
Thanks for having me back, Fearon. Pleasure to be here.
And bouncing around almost as much as I was bouncing around prior to the show is the Philosopher Chris Ermer.
Yes, sir. Ready to go. On board once again.
I was going to say, ready to go. That makes one of us.
Well, yeah, I'm not actually sure about myself either, so we might be 0 for 2. And Yale said he wasn't raring to go, so we might be 0 for 3. But actually, I don't know. I think we're all
This is going to be interesting, and it's going to be one of those shows. I just have that strange hunch. Oh man, where to start this week? Oh my goodness. Well, Yale, I guess let me go to you on this. I mean, obviously, last week when we were on the air, it was very shortly removed from the announcing of the passing of Roddy Piper. What were some of your thoughts and memories and I don't know, your I guess experiences with Piper? I know you're a bit. You didn't exactly follow him in his prime, but he's obviously been around long enough that he's been able to leave a lasting impression on multiple generations of wrestling fans.
He's my all-time favorite heel. I've watched a lot of his stuff on the WWE Network. Even before the passing, he's definitely made his mark in the professional wrestling universe, and it was surprising. I didn't see anything coming from Roddy Piper, but I knew he had some mental issues, and I just hope right now he's in a better place.
He had some, Well, I mean, I know he was, I guess, very quick-witted, but yeah, that I guess is knowledge to me, or I guess news to me rather, for lack of a better term. But yeah. Now I guess it's the matter of moving on, and we're moving on to a couple of weeks away from SummerSlam, and this is kind of the crux of what I wanted to get into. We glossed over it briefly last week, but the announcement that SummerSlam is extending to 4 hours. I don't know. Maybe I'm one of the few people who thinks that this isn't a great idea. I didn't exactly see a clamoring for it to begin with. I think it's another matter of WWE giving you more than what you're asking for, giving you more than what you're demanding, I guess, for lack of a better term.
They're giving Brooklyn more than they deserve.
What's wrong with the city of Brooklyn? You know what?
New York's getting a little too much wrestling. Bring it to Philadelphia.
Well, to be fair, New York is the largest market in the United States. I actually, oh gosh, I'm gonna have to bring out this chart. When the Royal Rumble came to Philadelphia earlier this year, or at least in the months heading up to it, there was I guess clamoring from an individual who will remain nameless for the moment, although I'm pretty much just painting myself in a corner by telling this story, but someone who was claiming that it was unfair and that the Royal Rumble should go to his city, which is actually a larger city than Philadelphia. So I went through and chronicled every pay-per-view from WrestleMania to the end of 2014, beginning of 2015, just to see which cities get the most pay-per-view love from WWE.
New York, LA, and Chicago.
Well, those were the top three, although Chicago was... there's a reason they're called the second city. They had... Oh, gosh. I think it was something like New York had 18 pay-per-views. Chicago, I think, had 14 or 15, and LA had like 12. And then in that next tier was Philadelphia and Boston, I think, were tied with 10.
Really? Wow, that's shocking. Let's see, Royal Rumble of, what are you counting from? What year?
Well, when I said WrestleMania, I mean WrestleMania 1, so 1985.
Oh,
so
wow.
Yeah, since WWE has been doing pay-per-views, and even then, WrestleMania 1 was primarily closed-circuit television, but there were some minimal pay-per-view outlets, so I guess New York gets the additional nod on that. I mean, like I said, this is going back in the closed-circuit days, but yes, in that time, Philadelphia... While they may have not gotten the most love, they've gotten, I think, an appropriate amount for the size of the market that the city is.
Yeah, it comes by every 2 to 3 years. It just stinks seeing all these cities get 1, even 2 per year.
Well, wait, who's got 2 per year? That's... or like I'm looking at I'll probably have to pull it up during the break just to see who's gotten, or what city has gotten 2 pay-per-views this year.
I don't know if it was this year, but I remember New York getting 2 per year. I think that there was one. It was a year that they had the Meadowlands Giant Stadium WrestleMania 27. I think the New York area got another pay-per-view that same year.
Well, WrestleMania 29 would have been at
Excuse me,
MetLife Stadium.
7s and 9s looks the same to me, so I get confused easily.
Well, WrestleMania 29 would have. Hopefully, you're not going to school to be an accountant.
Yeah, I'm going to be a broadcast journalist, just like you.
You got a long way to go.
Oh yeah.
Oh goodness. Yeah, that's something I'll have to dig up. I think I've got the info somewhere back there. Maybe I can pull it up here. I don't know if I'll have to. It was a whole Excel spreadsheet and everything. Oh gosh, I didn't realize I was going to have to go to this again necessarily. But even looking at Wikipedia's page, it says WWE pay-per-views were mainly held in top drawing areas such as, well, they used the Izod Center, which is now no longer in existence in East Rutherford, New Jersey. The Scott Trade Center in St. Louis, Missouri. Yes, St. Louis is another big market. The Allstate Arena in Rosemont, Illinois. That's right in suburban Chicago. That's usually one of their go-tos. The Staples Center in Los Angeles. TD Garden in Boston. The Barclays Center in Brooklyn. And the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia.
So that's the venue list for this.
Well, I mean that's just the listing. I mean, if I wanted to, I could go through the entire chart, and I actually typed all the information leading into the beginning of 2015. I haven't done it for the last 8 months or so to get an efficient update. But you look at all of the pay-per-views that they've done, and some years they didn't do a lot, obviously, because in the 80s they didn't really have that many. They were still developing them, but it kind of balances out with that point in within the last decade, around that 2005 to 2008 area, where there were so many pay-per-views, there were averaging more than one pay-per-view per month.
Yeah.
If you remember, I think the absolute worst, or well, I should say the absolute peak, although I guess for people shelling out $50 per pay-per-view, yeah, I guess they would consider that the worst, was what, 2006, where they had 16 pay-per-views in one calendar year?
Yeah, I remember that it was around that time period where they added Taboo Tuesday, which later became Cyber Sunday, and then so many other pay-per-views to come. Night of Champions was added, New Year's Revolution was added. And that was when WWE rebranded ECW with December to Dismember.
Yeah, they had that. They had the one night stand that year. That was 2006 was that year where they had so many that yes, there were 16 pay-per-views in a calendar year. So 16 pay-per-views in 52 weeks. That's one every less than 4 weeks. That's a lot to ask. I'm just looking down the list here. New Year's Revolution, and then 3 weeks after that, the Royal Rumble, and then 3 weeks after that, No Way Out. And then you had...
WrestleMania?
Well, you actually had a fair break between No Way Out and WrestleMania. I guess that was where they reestablished the balance. But then you had four weeks from WrestleMania to Backlash, and then you had another 3 from Backlash to Judgment Day. And then another 3 from Judgment Day to ECW One Night Stand. And then another 2 weeks until Vengeance. And then 4 weeks to the Great American Bash, 4 weeks to SummerSlam, 4 weeks to Unforgiven, 3 weeks from Unforgiven to No Mercy in early October. And then, another 4 weeks to Cyber Sunday, 4 weeks to Survivor Series. 1 week from Survivor Series to December to Dismember. And then 2 weeks after that was Armageddon. So, wow, yeah. So you had, in that end of 2006 period, you had 3 pay-per-views in a 3 pay-per-views in a 4-week span.
Think what the pay-per-view span would have been if WWE hadn't had the WWE Network this year. Well,
that could be the direction they're going back to. You could have your pay-per-views and you could have your network exclusives. I mean, we saw it with Beast in the East, the special from Japan.
And Elimination Chamber.
Elimination Chamber was an added bonus one.
Even though it would be less significant than that compared to the late 90s King of the Ring.
Well, I don't know. Late 90s, yeah, once they established monthly pay-per-views, I feel that a lot of the pay-per-views lost their luster. Now, I swear this is going to sound like a back in my day kind of moment, but I don't know. When I first started watching wrestling, at that point, you had the 5 WWF pay-per-views a year, and they were spread out nicely enough that you had time to adequately build to each one of them. You had the Royal Rumble in January. Then you had about a 2 to 2.5 month break until WrestleMania in the end of March, beginning of April. Then you had another roughly 2 months until King of the Ring in June, usually in that like mid-June area. And then that leads to 2 months to SummerSlam, and then another 2.5 months from SummerSlam in the end of August to Survivor Series right around, give or take, right around Thanksgiving. At that point, let's see, in 93 when I first started watching, they had, I want to say that was 93, I think, was the last year where they had it on Thanksgiving Eve.
Yeah,
think about that. What a lot of people consider the biggest party night of the year used to be a pay-per-view night for wrestling.
Good marketing. Break out some drinks before they were called Steve Wises and enjoy a good pay-per-view.
Well, I think it was more, at least from what I've seen in traditional circumstances, that's where a lot of people tended to not be in the house, was the night before Thanksgiving, because usually Thanksgiving you're at home, the family, the football, the whole 9 yards. So yeah, that would be the time to go out. You could probably relate this to being in college, going out and seeing friends from high school who you hadn't seen, things like that.
Well, the thing is, all my friends from high school either go with me to Temple.
They go with you to school,
or go to Penn State. So it's semi-relatable.
You know, go back to like Philly though, not getting its fair share of events. Mm-hmm. You can't sleep on the East. You know, when you got New York is a train ride away. You know, everything even down in Baltimore or D.C. It doesn't take like a huge effort to get to a lot of those places, and you know, nice to have them right in our hometown. But even when you have stuff up in New York, I mean, how many times have you guys gone up and seen events in like different? I did go to. Huh? You go down to Baltimore or?
No, I've not been to a WWE event in Baltimore. Although I did
go to the Royal Farms Arena for when they have another pay-per-view. Its Payback was very well run back there.
Yeah, man, it's definitely doable. But that's why I think the East Coast is awesome. Anything up in the Big Apple, that's definitely doable. You get DC, that's a day trip if you want to do it like that. Baltimore.
Definitely.
Yeah, there are some doable ones to say the least. I'm scrolling through as you're mentioning. It's just to see if you, I guess, I don't know. Did they? Okay, well, no. When they had it in North Jersey, did they also have something in New York? I guess that'd be the closest to having it in the same market necessarily. But I don't think that the same arena has hosted 2 pay-per-views in the same year. If it did, it might have been a one-shot occurrence. That's something I'll probably have to dig that up during the break or something like that.
I go by market, not by arena, all the time. Because
that's 2 different arguments. Yeah, that's because in the larger markets, you're going to have multiple arenas. I mean, you look at Chicago, you're going to have the Rosemont Horizon in Rosemont, which is in suburban Chicago, and you're going to have
the Allstate. That was the Allstate, right?
That's what I was drawing a blank for a second. Well, no, the Allstate Arena is in Rosemont, and then you have what the deuce is it? It was the place that had the Bulls play there. SummerSlam '94 was there. I'm drawing the United Center in Chicago. There we go.
And then you got L.A. with the Staples Center and Anaheim, the Honda Civic Center, I believe it's called.
I was going to Anaheim. I don't think Anaheim and Los Angeles are. You could probably make the case for
market.
Oh man, brainstorm. Wrestling-related travel. That's the enterprise we need to get into next. They have all these sports packages. You can take the Phillies trips. You can go down to, see the Marlins or whatever and check out Florida and all that stuff. Well, this is tomorrow. This is our future, boys. Wrestling-related travel where we put together packages of amazing travel vacations to these cities across the United States of America and the world. And we see amazing wrestling events while hosting a group of wrestling fans. Boom! Let's make it happen. This idea is copywritten.
I hate to burst your WWE. They do that on a pretty much annual basis with a WrestleMania travel package.
Right.
Where depending on how much you want to throw down, there are varying travel packages which include hotel, tickets to the various events. They do it for the whole weekend because there are so many things going on. Tickets to the Fan Access Festival that they have running Thursday through Sunday.
I'm not afraid.
Tickets to the Hall of Fame induction ceremony that's usually on that Saturday night right before WrestleMania.
No worries. We'll go on StubHub and we'll undercut the big boys.
Tickets to the WrestleMania event, and if you want to add on to the package, there are also tickets to Monday Night Raw at the neighboring arena for wherever WrestleMania is being hosted. So they have a pretty good handle on that, and I've seen some travel packages, WWE doing them that. If you want to talk, floor level ringside seats for all these events, you're looking to spend upwards of $5,000.
Boom! We can do it for $2,500. I'm glad you put a number to it there, Fearon, because now I know where we have to
now
get to.
Now you know what you're shooting for.
That's right. StubHub. It's an amazing thing. Or we could just find somebody maybe outside the arena that night and hope to get lucky, which could backfire on us. But it's a plan that maybe we should. I don't know. Is that a business model? Perhaps not.
Are you the type who would go into a local casino here, go up to the roulette table, and just put it all on either red or black, or even or odd? Because that's kind of what you're.
Well, a few
that is the basis of your plan here. Is stripping it down to its bare bones.
A local guy took his I think it was a baseball team down to a tournament, and they drove to the airport only to find that the guy never bought the tickets. And then somebody in their group purchased tickets, got them down to...
It got like a red eye or something like
tournament,
that?
But then there was no hotel room. So he eventually he was caught, and I think that ended up some justice applied to his actions, but we wouldn't do that.
Planning a trip without booking it?
Right. That's right.
And then bringing all these kids for
That's low. That was low down. We would not do that, but wrestling-related travel, perhaps we should just look into it a little bit more. We could team up with a local travel agent here in Levittown. You know, we got to keep it local. We're not WWE. We don't need to be WWE. We could just, you know, do it on our own scale. Which is small.
Well, I was going to say, I don't think a pay-per-view is coming to Philadelphia in the near future, but SummerSlam, which is 2 weeks from tomorrow, will be at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York.
I mean, we're really small scale. We're going to get a bus of people and take them over to Sinomania at the Technical High School in a few weeks.
Oh, yeah.
You can jump on the bus, $10.
I was going to mention this earlier, but since you brought it up...
I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
That's right, your headphones are not in. I'm afraid I've got some bad news regarding Sinomania.
I heard that.
Oh, you did hear that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you heard the news or you heard the sounder?
I just heard that there was some bad news.
Yes. Well,
Hard to miss it.
Sinomania, unfortunately, has to be postponed due to the fact that the Saturday that they had it scheduled, is the same day same, I guess, time frame that the Pope will be in Philadelphia. And I don't mean D'Angelo Gennaro. No. I mean the Pope, yeah. So it has created just in the preliminary planning stages for Sinomania, it has created a litany of travel and hotel and traffic nightmares just in the planning stages. So rather than try to fight that head on and try to fly people in here at the same time that the Pope's going to be here, George's Cards and Collectibles has opted to indefinitely postpone Sinomania. Once they have a new date set, they will obviously announce it, and you'll hear it here on Pro Wrestling Weekly.
I think after it's all said and done, we will look back and say we all had to sacrifice something for the Pope's visit, because it is going to be a nightmare when it comes to all that stuff, the travel and the lodging and the parking and all that.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up later, but I mean, I guess, now I guess I better get the spot going since you mentioned it, hey, it's not George's fault. I mean, who's he to go above the Pope? I mean,
well, and when you see which way the wind is blowing, it's better not to spit into it. And I think
exactly
that's a smart, really good
unless
move.
you're Roddy Piper, in which case he'll duck and it'll hit the old lady behind him. As one of his infamous quotes were. Oh, man. But yes, even though Sinomania is not happening, unfortunately, one thing that is happening, Saturday, August 22nd, that's 2 weeks from today, at George's over in the Neshaminy Mall, JBL, John Bradshaw Layfield, the former WWE champion, tag champion, the commentator for pay-per-views and Raw, and a grizzled veteran, to say the least.
I bet that's probably going to be a lot of fun. I mean, I don't know, is he going to have a PA? Is he going to...
Well, I don't think he'll be coming in the limo with the giant the giant Texas bullhorns as he was so notorious for doing. He might.
He might.
Didn't Cena break those off?
He might have at one point. I don't know. He may have some stock tips, though, because that's one of the other things that he's been dabbling with post-in-ring career is the stock market and whatnot. He's even made some appearances on various stock market-esque TV shows to which I'm not familiar with at all.
My fortune cookie said, beware of stock tips from wrestlers.
From wrestlers. Your fortune cookie said that?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. That was pretty prophetic.
Is that where you get some of your philosophical? You know what? I don't know.
Don't even go there.
Not going there. Okay. Where I should go to is a break because, holy crap, we're halfway through the show already, and I've not done that. Oh, what the heck's the matter with me here? All right. Let's get JBL's theme out of here. Oh, mention the rest of, I mentioned all this good news and bad news about George's Cards and Collectibles, but if you want to find out more about them, well, here's how. You can check out their 3 locations for all your sports and wrestling memorabilia needs, including their original store at 7755 New Falls Road in Fairless Hills, as well as on the lower level of the Oxford Valley Mall next to the Sears Court, and in the Neshaminy Mall in the AMC Theater Wing. That's where JBL is going to be in a couple weeks. For more info on upcoming signings and collectibles, and they have all kinds of stuff there. They've got baseball, everything from baseball cards to wrestling memorabilia. They've got replica title belts. They've got merchandise signed by different wrestlers they've had in the store. One of my favorites, which I actually have one of at home, is a 2x4 signed by Hacksaw Jim Duggan, who's notorious for bringing a 2x4 with him to the ring along with an American flag. That's just some of the stuff. But to check it all out, you can give them a call at 215-943-2475 or go to georgescollectibles.com. All right, we'll be back and probably have a very short segment to kind of catch up and get realigned here as we make our way through the muck post-Piper passing. Yay, alliteration.
Without Lucas, it's tough to keep it going here.
Well, I think it's also without sleep. I think that has a little bit to do with it too. I'm bouncing around more than him on a sugar binge. Yeah, I know.
That is not fair.
Yeah, they're picking on the kid. All right, let me take care of some business and come back. Alongside Yale and the philosopher Chris Ermer, I'm Fearon Derry. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
And now, more Pro Wrestling Weekly with your host, Fearon Derry.
Welcome back to the madness. Welcome back to the insanity. Man, I could use some bubble gum too. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you alongside Yale Alpert back in the house and the philosopher Chris Ermer doing a little bit of legwork for me and getting the chart that I put together ages ago talking about the different pay-per-views in the different cities. We'll be kicking that around. Oh, yeah, he's looking intently at the litany of pages I had thrown out there.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you're going to interpret this document, Fearon.
Well, I remember how I put it together, so yeah, it's
You need Julian Assange on that one.
I don't know about all that. I quickly hit print, and then at the time, here we go. So if you look at, see, now this is where it gets a little bit difficult because you look at East Rutherford and Newark, New Jersey. Do you count that as the New York market? Because if you do, then that significantly staggers the totals. Because New York City itself, in WWE history, heading into the end of 2014, had 17 pay-per-views. East Rutherford and Newark, New Jersey, which is maybe 10 miles from New York City, they had a combined 9. So if you put those together, then you're looking at 26 for the New York market if you count that all as the New York market. I was just going mostly by city because, well, there are a lot of cities that have only in their history had one pay-per-view or maybe 2, but some of the bigger ones, you've got the Washington, D.C. and Landover, Maryland. Those are close enough that they're considered together. They've had 6. The Cleveland and Richfield, Ohio, they've had a combined 9. That's because they had a lot of the early Survivor Series. But yeah, if you go, let's say, top 10 in order, you've got New York City at number 1, Chicago and Rosemont as 2, Los Angeles at 3 with 12. Tied for 4th, you've got Detroit, Boston, and Philadelphia with 10. Tied for 5th, well, I guess that'd be tied for 7th because you have I know. I'm doing this all off the top of my head here. Houston, Cleveland, and we'll call it North Jersey. And then you have St. Louis with 8 and Pittsburgh with 7. So, I mean, that's to kind of give you an idea of the cities that get the most love. I'd go over all the cities that have only had one pay-per-view, but it would take a while. Things like Edmonton and Oakland and Birmingham, Alabama. San Francisco's only had one. That's kind of surprising.
Was that WrestleMania this year? Oh wait, that was San Jose. San Francisco 49ers Stadium, but I don't think that... No, it's Santa Clara where the stadium is.
Yeah, Santa Clara had the... But then again, this was pre the beginning of this year, so that I didn't... Yeah, I have to update the totals to include the pay-per-views and WWE Network specials since January of this year. So that would be another one for Philadelphia. That would be just... To give, I guess, an example. I know we've been kicking that around. Corpus Christi would finally get on the board with a pay-per-view because they had never had one before.
Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, that was supposed to be a live event that they just kind of shoehorned into. But yeah, I mean, Memphis, Santa Clara, Rosemont.
Have you been to Corpus Christi?
I can't say that I've been to Texas at all.
Oh, that's
yeah, same with me.
Something that seems like is that like on the Gulf Coast? Where the heck is Corpus Christi? Have they been waiting for an event there?
I mean, they've had a few Monday Night Raws and SmackDowns and things. I mean, they've had televised events there, but I guess due to the size of the arena, it's not usually one that would lend itself to hosting a pay-per-view. But they just kind of lucked out because there was going to be a live event that day, and they decided to make it a network special. And next thing you know, hey, you thought you were just coming to watch WWE live come to town. Hey, you're getting a pay-per-view now. Well, you're getting a network exclusive, in air quotes.
Note to self. I got to find out a little something about Corpus Christi because
I'm looking at some info right here. It is kind of in the southeastern end of Texas, kind of right around where it hooks there. There's a very tiny.
Doesn't look like the garden spot that I thought it was.
No, it's.
I don't think.
I'm highlighting the red spot at the. It's very close to. It's very close to. I guess that would be the Gulf of Mexico there. As.
Texas on the other side, on the west. The southern west or southern east coast,
southeast coast. Yeah,
I didn't think they would hit.
Yeah, the southwest coast would border Mexico. Yeah,
right.
Like the country of Mexico, not the Gulf.
So this is the southwest coast.
No, Corpus Christi is on the southeast. It is. Yeah, it's not too far from the Gulf of Mexico along the shoreline there.
I still think I want to go there then, and maybe see an event with World Wrestling Travel.
With World Wrestling Travel. There you go. Book your travel packages to Corpus Christi.
Wait, I think I already changed the name. What was the name I was going with earlier? I think it was something different. With World Wrestling Travel. Well, this name is also copywritten, so forget about it.
Jerry McDevitt, if you're head attorney for WWE, if you're listening, you can contact Chris. No. Oh, goodness. Craig. Forgot where I put my... There we go. I had notes in front of... There we go. I moved those over here so I could get this pay-per-view listing thing over here that we were kicking around and whatnot. It showed the different events and all the nonsense and whatnot. Let me get into some news and notes here because there's some interesting things to get into to say the least. I don't even know where to... Well, actually, here we go. I know. I feel like we've had all bad news today, so let me get into a little bit of good news here. The fundraising campaign starting and quickly finishing for Jerry Lynn's surgery. Wrestler Jerry Lynn, he's looking for fans' help. The former WWE, ECW, and WCW star was looking to cover expenses for a surgery that he had a couple of days ago. He had been experiencing chronic neck pain and numbness in his right arm, so he had surgery to remove bone spurs, replace 3 degenerative discs in his neck, and fuse his vertebrae.
Is he a retired guy, or is he looking to get back out there?
Actually, he's looking to get back out there. He's been wrestling for 25 years.
How old is he at this point?
Gosh, he's probably in his late 40s, I would guess. I'll quick look that up just to be sure. But you figure he's been wrestling for 25 years. Born in June of '63, so that'd make him 52.
Man, credit to the fans for their fanaticism, but I'm not sure this is like enabling this guy to get back out there at 52.
Well, what's funny is he always had very long hair, and actually before going in for surgery, he posted a video thanking the fans for their donations and whatnot, but he said that he had cut his hair because he was starting to look literally like Randy the Ram, which was... why am I drawing a blank on his name? The character from the movie The Wrestler, Mickey Rourke's character from The Wrestler. Couldn't remember Mickey Rourke's name for a second there.
Well, I hope all the best for the guy. He could get back to...
Oh, yeah. Well, this is a testament to wrestling fans who support him, because their goal over however long they were looking to do this fundraiser was $15,000 to cover... mainly his deductible for the. He has medical insurance, but it was a $5,000 deductible, as well as to kind of help support Jerry Lynn's wife and I think young daughters, because he'll be out of action for 2 to 3 months.
And hopefully wrestlers can count on that kind of crowdsourcing and that kind of funding, because
and they certainly did in this case, because that goal was $15,000 and it was surpassed 3 days after it was started earlier this week. So I'll have to look to see where it's. They're still taking donations. Funds that have raised over the goal will actually be given to the Nashville Rescue Mission charity. It offers food, clothing, and shelter to the homeless, as well as providing recovery programs to those having problems. So
that still should be money that goes into some fund that helps wrestlers. That to me, that's what that money is for. That money is to go to
kind of pay it forward to other wrestlers who may have some medical issues, ailments, or otherwise.
Put that in a fund that other guys can draw from when other things come up, because that's what the sport demands of the human body.
I know you were talking about your travel thing kind of tongue-in-cheek, but that actually is a legitimate good idea, and I don't think that it's something that really anybody else has done.
I'm a little hurt, Fearon, because that travel idea is a gold
That was not tongue-in-cheek?
It was tongue-in-cheek. It was.
Okay.
But it's still a good idea.
No, it is a great idea. That's why WWE did it.
Right. We're not the first to come up with these gems.
I just wanted to save you, running down to the patent office and getting trademarks and copyrights and finding out at that point that
a fund that goes towards wrestlers who have these things,
that have various medical ailments, and they're, I guess the problem though is regulation. Like how would you regulate it? So I guess what level of wrestler stardom would you have to be to access this, or would you have been? There's some questions and some things to kick around, but it on its face value, it's not that bad.
Or for this guy, maybe he should just keep it in his own personal funds, because down the road, if he's looking to get back in the ring, he might have some other procedures that are necessary.
Well, you can check it all out for yourself. It's at GoFundMe.com/helpJerryLynn, HELPJERRYLYNN. And if you check out the Pro Wrestling Weekly Facebook fan page, Facebook follower Danny from Bluebell has posted the link on the Facebook fan page. So thank you to Danny for that. Oh, wow. So now that I've thrown that out there, of course, I've got some more bad news. This might be where your medical fund idea might come in handy, as a WWE Hall of Famer is battling cancer. Carol Snuka, the wife of WWE legend Jimmy Superfly Snuka, said that her husband is battling stomach cancer. She made the announcement during an interview with OneWrestling.com's Bill Apter. Snuka underwent surgery to have a portion of his stomach and as well as his lymph nodes removed. Returned home last Friday, the same day that he learned of Roddy Piper's passing, and they were notable rivals for throughout their career. Or both of their careers, I should say.
What if there's been a rivalry documentary on the network for Snuka and Piper? Because that would be a good hour special.
Well, that's I'm sure they have the footage. I'm sure that Piper has been interviewed in the past about various interactions. Of course, the coconut incident on Piper's Pit. So it's possible. Obviously, with Roddy passing last week, they wouldn't be able to get any new footage to put it together. So it would have to be solely archival, and whatever they can get out of an interview from Jimmy Superfly Snuka, which he wasn't exactly known as the greatest of talkers. Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, if one person can't be interviewed for a documentary,
I mean, they'll come up with something.
They can still pull it off. I mean, there was the ESPN 30 for 30 documentary on Nancy Kerrigan and her ankle incident back in 1994, and she wasn't interviewed. Only Tanya Harding was.
Yeah,
and it was
so they can go that way. You're right. All right, is it about that time to take care of some more business? I think it is, because we've went about a half hour into the show. Oh, yeah. Yeah, true. I've. This is what happens again when you run on no sleep. Fortunately, the winds of change will be a-blowing in a couple of weeks, so it won't be as much of an issue. But yeah, we'll get to Ed from Northeast Philly right now. Ed, welcome to Pro Wrestling Weekly.
Good afternoon. Happy birthday to Hogan coming up.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, I think his birthday present should be to stay away from social media. The Hulkster, yes, this coming Tuesday, I believe, will be turning, I know, we're jumping the gun a little bit on the birthday segment since it doesn't fall on a Saturday. The Hulkster will be turning 62 this coming Tuesday. Anyway, what's going on, Ed?
CZW tonight, starting at 6:30 at the Skate Zone in Boise.
That should be a good show.
Yeah, CZW puts on some great shows.
I think there's a street fight with Matt Tremont tonight. I didn't get the lineup.
Yeah, CZW puts on some great shows. I'll have to, yeah, I know they sent me an email not too long ago about...
The Gulak brothers will be involved in tonight's card. Rory and Drew. Rory was one of my wrestling teammates at Temple. Amateur, not professional, Chris.
That's great.
No kidding. Okay, yeah, Retribution. It's a 6:30 pre-show. You can order it on iPay-per-view at streamczw.com. Yeah, the Amazing Gulaks are going to be on hand. A street fight between Bulldozer Matt Tremont and Pepper Parks with Cherry Bomb in the house as well. There's going to be a Puroresu showcase in there with names that I probably would be better off not attempting to pronounce. Puroresu is Japanese wrestling. Just the philosopher looking over like, what is he talking about? Should I be running over to the dump button?
Just steer clear of confusing names for us.
Yes, that's especially when I'm doing a cold read as I am now looking up information on them.
The golden rules of broadcasting, I say. Just if you don't know how to pronounce it, just try to say like bedeep, 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 bedeep. Porky Pig, just pick another word.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much. All right, what else you got, Ed?
Takara is coming back to Northeast Philly on August 15th at the Wrestle Factory.
Oh, no kidding.
4700 Wingate.
Interesting.
And Booker T's on the show in the same night. Hazleton, PA.
Well, yeah. Hazleton's a bit of a hike. That's like
3 hours.
Wow, that's I forget what I was. Oh, that's right. I had seen a wrestler who does a lot of wrestling at a promotion in Hazleton, Sanctuary Wrestling, and he happened to be. I think he made an appearance at the Monster Factory, and he also. Where was he? He was at. Why am I drawing a blank on the one in Rahway? Lucas would be punching me right now if he was here.
Jersey All-Pro?
No, not Jersey All-Pro. I went to the bloody thing in
PWS?
Thank you, Pro Wrestling Syndicate. Man, I am all kinds of scatterbrained today. But yeah, he was at PWS, and apparently his primary base of operation is at this Sanctuary Wrestling out in Hazleton. The Monster Atu. Is the wrestler's name. And I was really impressed with him, but I don't know, driving out to Hazleton, usually on a Sunday evening, is a little difficult to do, to say the least. But hopefully we get to check out Atu. Just mentioning Hazleton, that jumped out at me.
Speaking of PWS, still at the Starlight Ballroom next week, or in 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah, that is coming up. My goodness. Oh, yeah, that's... I need to follow up with them. It's been a while. All right. Thanks so much for the call, Ed. I got to hit that second. Got to hit a quick second timeout and come back and wrap things up because things have just been kind of pushing. And of course, before I do, it's late, but it's still that time to tell you about my favorite beer spot, the Broken Goblet Brewery, 1500 Grundy's Lane in Bristol. Broken Goblet Brewing, breaking your perspective on how you experience craft beer because broken can be beautiful. Each Saturday in August, it's firkin' hot out there. That's right. Every Saturday at 2 p.m., Broken Goblet will open up a firkin of a different type of beer and sell it till it's gone. What's a firkin, you may ask? It's a unit of measure and the size of a particular keg used for making beer without additional nitrogen or carbon dioxide pressure. Get it before it's gone. There's only 72 pints in a firkin, and they're on every Saturday in August starting at 2 o'clock at the Broken Goblet. Open Thursdays through Sundays for the summer. It's always a good time at the Broken Goblet Brewery, 1500 Grundy's Lane in Bristol, PA. Check them out on the web at brokengoblet.com. That's Broken Goblet Brewing, the semi-official brewery of Pro Wrestling Weekly.
And the official brewery of wrestling-related travel.
All right, we'll have to talk to Mike, one of the owners at the Goblet, about that one.
Oh, it's just a throw-in.
Hey, you're just sneaking that in there.
Yeah. Hey, do they deliver? Could we get a firkin over here at Beast?
I don't think we could get I don't think we could get any of their. I mean, you know what? I'm gonna not say any more before I get into trouble. We'll be back. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Pro Wrestling Weekly presents Today in Wrestling History, August 8. On this date in 1998, WCW held its Road Wild pay-per-view. In the main event, Diamond Dallas Page and Jay Leno, yes, that Jay Leno, defeated Hollywood Hogan and Eric Bischoff in a tag team match. On this date in 2005, WWE Monday Night Raw aired live from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. In the main event, Matt Hardy pinned Gene Snitsky. On this date in 2010, TNA held its Hardcore Justice pay-per-view. In the main event, Rob Van Dam defeated Sabu in a Hardcore Rules match. On this date in 2011, WWE Monday Night Raw aired live from San Jose, California. In the main event, R-Truth pinned John Morrison. This has been Today in Wrestling History, August 8. Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. The shortest segment ever. Fearon Derry alongside Yale Alpert and the philosopher Chris Ermer. We've got like 3 minutes. I had to get into this just because it was rather entertaining to say the least. A faction name change is definitely on tap in the near future. WWE referring to the women's faction of Charlotte Paige and Becky Lynch under a very interesting title, which we're not going to mention here, so please, Yale, don't do it.
I won't.
Oh, thank you. But the name of the group is shared by a hardcore porn series. What? I kid you not. Searching the new name of this faction leads to a lot of links of a series of adult entertainment films, not a sports entertainment faction. A traffic analyst for the porn company of note said that their web traffic shot up 56% overnight following Monday Night Raw, and they saw a 35% rise in subscriptions. Something tells me that wasn't all that was rising.
I think it's tough when you're talking about search engine optimization to battle the monster that is internet porn. I think
true. That is always an uphill battle, to say the least. Alrighty, what else do I got here? Pro wrestling action returning to the Monster Factory. That's tonight, 541 Mantua Avenue in Paulsboro, New Jersey. The main event is set. Luis the Punisher Martinez getting his title shot rematch against Monster Factory heavyweight champion Matt Riddle. Also, Shooters, Inc., they put their tag team gold on the line against the formidable tag team known as Milk Chocolate. Clutch Adams goes one-on-one for the first time in a Monster Factory ring with QT Marshall. Also, Little MV faces Moxie with the Supersonic title as the prize. Plus a whole bunch more. It all goes down tonight at the Monster Factory. Doors open at 6. The action starts at 7. Tickets just $15 for adults, $10 for kids ages 12 and under. Check out the Monster Factory on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, as well as their website, monsterfactory.org. All right, we got what? We have exactly a minute left. So I guess it's that particular time, isn't it? Where's Lucas when I need him?
WBCB is like some good old lemonade. You can have some country time there.
Oh, yeah, that's coming up.
Yeah.
But first, of course, we've got to go through...
Birthdays!
As we always do. On this date in 1928, Alfred George James Hayes was born. The former wrestler, manager, interviewer, and commentator, best known as Lord Alfred Hayes, passed away in 2005 at the age of 76. And my memory of him is whenever there would be a brief kind of, here's our sponsors thing, he'd be the one who you'd hear his voiceover of promotional considerations paid for by the following.
Wow, yeah, that guy.
Yeah, that guy. I know. For like 3 people who know what I'm talking about. On this date in 1967, Eric Angle was born, the former WWE storyline participant who is the older brother of former WWE champion and Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle, turns 48 today. Also on this date in 1967, Rena Greek was born. The former WWE Women's Champion, ex-wife of wrestler Mark Merrow, and current wife of WWE's Brock Lesnar, best known as Sable, turns 48 today. There's a Playboy joke there, but we ain't got time for it. And on this date in 1974, Scott Francis D'Amore was born. The former TNA wrestler and manager known as Scott D'Amore and Coach D'Amore of Team Canada turns 41 today. Wow, this show just flew by, and it flew with a broken wing.
Just ran in circles?
Pretty much,
we went in circles today.
It did. Programming note for next week, I'm going to be airing a best of with some interviews from the past because I'll be north of the border, I won't even be in the freaking country.
Nice.
Or the Firkin country. Actually, I'll head over to Firkin country at 2 o'clock over at the Broken Goblet.
That's awesome.
Yeah, see what I did there? But I'll be back 2 weeks from today with a big SummerSlam preview and who knows what other hilarity and hijinks.
What's in Canada? What are you doing in Canada?
Family reunion.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah, way north, like 19-hour drive.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Right smack dab in the middle of Ontario.
Well, you know, we'll be sweltering here and you'll be like in the great white north. Chill.
I would hope that it's not snowing in August in that part of Canada.
Maybe that would be awesome.
I mean, maybe the temperature will be... Okay, I'm...
Making a snowman in August? Come on, Fearon. That's something to look forward to. Maybe. I don't know.
No.
Okay.
No way.
No, I would rather shaved ice in a fruity drink as opposed to snow in... I don't know where I'm going with that. You know what? We got to get out of here. Play us out, Nutsy.
1 o'clock in all's well.
We got to get out of here.
Serving you better than ever before. This is 1490 WBCB.